Senator Mackenzie.
Thank you very much, Mr President. Well, as Leader of the Nationals, I stand to associate our party with the comments from Senator Cormann, and particularly his references to the indiscriminate nature in the victims of this virus, and regional Australia is similarly not immune. It's a crisis, I think, as Senator Wong so eloquently stated, is something that we will get through together as one, and we have faced seemingly insurmountable challenges in our past as a nation. And when we come together, we can do great things, and it's been really heartening, I think, as we've looked across the Federation through the work of the National Cabinet and at a very much a community and organisational level, how Australians have really embraced the leadership from our premiers and our Prime Minister and adopted very tough measures around socially isolating, etc. And we're learning new ways of connecting, which hopefully some of them will actually stay with us once we get through this. But out in regional Australia, we are socially isolating. We're doing the right thing. We're also producing a lot of fresh food. This unprecedented government response from the National Cabinet in the face of this unique health challenge is so significant. I think the legislation we've been called to Parliament to pass today will help us stem some of the more devastating impacts on our economy and our workforce going forward. Regional Australians know about resilience and compassion in adversity, and I'd also like to associate the Nationals with Senator Wong's commentary around the community response and the need to connect at a personal level. I thought those were very apt words, and our nations, when you look around the globe, has actually chosen quite a unique approach to deal with this crisis, and I think we need to be proud of our premiers and our Prime Minister and the way we're all working across all party lines to actually find a solution that's right for us. To our families living in the bush, we have your back, and we're making sure any response that our government puts forward recognises the challenges for rural and regional communities and our industries. The issue of telecommunication concerns, we welcomed the NBN Sky Muster program support and the increased data needs as rural and regional Australians and businesses and families struggling to educate children at home need that additional data. Having a health package that recognises the unique aspects of health provision out in rural and regional areas, specific measures for remote community preparedness, our Indigenous community. The establishment of respiratory health clinics. We've seen one open in Mildura this week and one up in Emerald, and there'll be more rolled out in regional communities over coming weeks. An increase to telehealth services has been a real boon for regional Australians to be able to actually stay on property or in their community and still access that specialist health services. And we've also put forward specific measures for rural aged care services. We've also invested money to support remote communities to minimise the impact, to have specific evacuation strategies available to them, because we know if this virus gets into some of our more remote Indigenous communities, it will have a devastating impact. We're also focused on supporting Australia's regional airline network, because many of our regional communities rely on air service for urgent and essential transport, medical supplies and personnel. We've been really focused on keeping Australia's supply chain open, so our food producers can get our crops harvested and to market wherever that happens to be. And that's been critical in keeping our shelves stocked at supermarkets. Our farmers across every state and territory have been very committed to ensuring we'll not run out of food in this country, so please don't panic buy. They're working very, very hard to make that happen. We've got a $110 million export initiative to help our agricultural and fisheries sector get back that produce on planes and into key overseas markets, because that means securing regional jobs and making the recovery quicker once we're through this. It also means keeping the trucks on the road. And driving up from Wodonga yesterday, there were barely a car in sight, but trucks on both sides ferrying essentials, medical supplies, food, etc. Has been really, really key. And I think keeping those roadside service stations open, the roadhouses, the truck driver lounges, so that our truckies can actually do this very, very critical task, getting the rest, food and personal care that they need whilst keeping those supply chains open has been something that governments have been very, very focused on. National senators have been fierce advocates on behalf of our growers to extend the working holidaymaker visas, the seasonal and Pacific Islander visa classes, because agriculture needs these workers on farm to ensure that we can have fresh domestic food supply in our supermarkets. And I know whether it's Senator McMahon for our melon growers in the NT, the mango growers with Canavan and McDonald in Queensland, or indeed Senator Davey and myself with apple and pear growers in the southern area, that particular measure by the government, we can't underestimate what that means to so many of our primary producers. We've brought forward measures to keep a strong regional media so that we can keep informed out in regional and rural Australia, and small businesses are the cornerstone of our communities, so we've cut red tape. We've also bringing forward these supplements to offer an extra boost for rural businesses, and I think the JobKeeper wage subsidy that will keep employees and businesses connected through this crisis is an absolute milestone achievement, and I congratulate everyone from Porter to McManus for getting this done. We're at home working wherever we are out in the regions as the Senate team, supporting our communities, not just through drought and bushfire response and recovery, which is ongoing, but also making sure our communities can access this much-needed government support, from the trophy shop operator in central Queensland to the work that's been done, particularly by Senators McMahon and McDonald, in making sure supermarkets who won't let you bulk buy anything actually revise those measures for our people that live out on station, where a round trip to the supermarket could be upwards of 800 kilometres. That's been essential work, common sense approach in a time of crisis. I just wanted to inform the Senate of a good news story of what's happening out there in the regions. Senator McMahon informed me of Gary Frost, who runs the Dunmara Roadhouse on the Sturt Highway, halfway between Darwin and Alice Springs. Can't dine in, so he's got a plane, and he actually drops pizza and beer out to stations at no additional delivery charge. So there you go. Thank you very much, Gary. Thank you very much. But it's typical of the can-do attitude and commitment of communities right across Australia in a time of crisis. I think, yeah, we should put his name forward for us. I'll take that, Senator. Thank you. But it is a story that's actually repeated right across the country. Unique stories of compassion, of resilience, of supporting the most vulnerable. We are really at our best in a time of crisis. So I commend individuals and organisations that are being their very, very best selves at the moment. The Nationals back our health response, and particularly those in the front line. We don't underestimate how hard this will be. Millions have lost their jobs. 48 Australians have lost their lives, and we haven't seen the end of it. But in adversity, through droughts and floods and fire, we've stood together. And finally, as we head into Easter, we know we made a big bang on about heading out into the bush so that you can support our businesses, recover from drought and bushfire, and that all beckoned. But please, today, this coming period over Easter, please do not visit your favourite regional Australian destination. We're not immune. Do the right thing, stay at home, and when the time's right, we look forward to welcoming you all with open arms to celebrate our beautiful flora and fauna. Thank you.
Senator Patrick.
Thank you.